You're listening to Hotep Ish with your host, Dewan B. Intelligent Ish Talk, intelligent shit talk, where we balance the profound with the profane. Political satire, celebrity and expert guests, information and entertainment, conversation and solutions. Leave your feelings at the door.
Saturday afternoon, y'all ain't doing shit. So get on up in here. Y'all sitting around watching, and if you are going to a barbecue, you watching somebody else. So while you watch other people, while you watch Uncle Hester over there barbecue and shit, you could be listening to me. Can't none of you niggas cook. I'm just playing. I love my barbecue grill. I'm gonna get on it. I think I'm a barbecue for my parents this coming 4th. In the meantime, yeah, welcome. I was tweeting this out and I was sending it out on YouTube and sending it out, putting the word out on IG and Twitter. So I recommend you do the same. You dig? I'm gonna want you to send this out to everybody you know listening. Does Boyce Watkins think black men are stupid? I gotta ask this question based off a video Boyce did yesterday responding to Corey Holcomb. And again, I ain't trying to get in the middle of he and Corey Holcomb's beef. Corey Holcomb will handle Boyce Watkins far better than I ever can when it comes to that. But I want to use this as a case study between elitist Negroes and rank and file black people. We gonna get to that. But foist. I'm trying to. That's my. This is Ride Ready Car Wash over here. I hit the music. I'm gonna get a goddamn strike because of that song. I added that, but y'all need to go to rideready.org. These are my personal folks that I use to wash my car. And if you're in Southern California, I promise you it's the best car wash you will ever have. I be thinking they detailing my shit. A regular ass wash be at a higher quality than most details with their stuff. And if you get their detail, shit. Especially with summertime just now getting started. If you in Southern California, LA, Orange County, the Valley, they will come to your house, black owned, got their own truck and their own water. So if you live in an apartment building and your manager be like, "That's too much water you're using. You can't use your water to wash your car." Don't worry about all that. They bring their own goddamn water. So phone number 310-753-1947. 310-753-1947. Right, ready. These motherfuckers is cold. So we're talking about this here. I'm gonna be playing video from Boyce Watkins responded to Corey Holcomb yesterday. And he in the video I didn't watch the whole video. I watched like the first 30 minutes and I really couldn't get past it. I'm gonna start off by saying I don't have anything personal towards Boyce, but I do. I'm tired of the elitist, better than thou Negroes. They like to shit on the ratchet, but they're no better than the ratchet oftentimes because, and in their elitism, people know when you won't really fuck with them, and they feel it. So when you come to people with that energy, whatever message you're trying to convey doesn't come across right because we know you coming from a bullshit ass point of view, a bullshit space. People know when they're being played like a sucker, being played to the side. So when Boyce responds to Corey, he does it in a very elitist point of view that takes jabs and takes shots at a lot of our society. Now, what do I mean when I say elitist? I agree with Boyce in the fact that, you know, the ratchets and degenerates amongst us, they get too much attention. You know what I mean? I've always said that. You know, we need better examples. But at the same time, I don't play black folks, especially black men and women, for stupid. Just because we have ratchets out there does not mean that that's indicative of black society. Just because ratchet shit is getting played all over the place, like on the BET Awards, that doesn't necessarily mean we're the main ones watching it. Hell, most people that watch the BET Awards are non-black people. That's not even, we don't. So what happens is you get the elitists that try to, like Boyce, that try to make it seem as if what's wrong with the downside of black society is what's holding us back. Well, often at the same time, he'll admit to white supremacy. He'll still, for the most part, turn around and blame each other on what's going on, or the lower class of black people. And that's a problem. So what I did was I found a few spots. So what I'm gonna do is play some stuff, and we're going to get into it, and then you guys are going to hear what I'm talking about. All right? Hold on.
To freedom of speech. That's why, for example, so many comedians rallied around Chris Rock when Wilson.
Y'all hear Chris? I wonder if y'all
rallied around him because there is a fundamental tenet among comedians that says we should be allowed to say whatever we want, right, and not be slapped, not be banned, not be canceled or whatever. So he was being edgy, right? He's being edgy. Ha ha! I wish death on my baby's mama. Da 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 da. And I was like, okay, number one, that's just not appropriate because you got to remember, black men pay attention to other black men. A lot of men don't have role models, so they look up to men that they see on TV. They look up to
There we go. That part right there. I saw somebody in the chat room make a silly comment. Boyce didn't literally say he doesn't like black. Look, let me tell y'all something, people. We grown in here. You should know better than that. Yes, people don't say things directly, but they say it through what they're saying. And you got to be able to pick up what's being said. Listen. It sounded like he called black people stupid right here. Black men. Let's go back and listen to this part.
And pay attention to other black men. A lot of men don't have role models, so they look up to men that they see on TV. They look up to men that they see in Hollywood. So you got to understand the trickle down effect.
Basically, what Boyce is saying right here is black men don't have role models. And so, because black men don't have role models, comedians shouldn't say what they want to say. I have a unique point of view from this because I'm a businessman. I'm a quote-unquote intellectual, also Boyce, with a college degree. But I'm a comedian. I'm also a married man. I also don't have a whole bunch of kids running around. I've been very responsible. So let me speak from the responsible man's point of view. Black men aren't stupid. Do I say children need good role models? Yes. But adults, when you go around saying that a comedian's joke is affecting the thought process down to the level of murder to other black men, now you playing me as a black man for a fool. I appreciate that that super chat, Cyber9 100. Now, because I'm a black man now, and I've been a black man my whole life. I've worked with black men. I work with black men. So, with that being said, I know that we aren't stupid. We aren't stupid. We're not stupid. We can see the difference between a Corey Holcomb joke and killing somebody. See that right there? That's a white supremacist point of view. The reason why I have this title, does Boyce Watkins think black men are stupid, is because I know white society think we stupid. I know that. But he's using these white supremacist talking points. Entertainer says something off the ledge. Black men are dumb. They're going to follow what he says. Yes, we're dumb. We can't just laugh at a joke. All of black society has to be dredged down because two black people can't laugh at a joke. That's the kind of white supremacist stuff. Lately I've been doing a lot of videos talking about stuff that Boyce talks about. And yeah, I have. I've been targeting on him. And y'all know me, this channel, I don't talk about other people. But right now, this is bigger than Boyce. This is an intelligent black person firing back because he likes to hide under this moniker of intelligent black society. And we're going to get to that further on in this video. He likes to hide behind, no, we're the smart ones. We're the good ones. Yeah, I'm smart. But that don't make me any better than my black men and women who aren't. At the same time, I don't necessarily feel like I have to save the slow wretched amongst us. You know, they live their lives. But I'm not about to sit around here and allow someone to hide behind their college degree and play us for fools and say, hey, the reason why we murder each other, the reason why we're violent towards each other is because of what a comedian says. No more of that bullshit. I'm tired of anytime a white person plays us to the side, I'm saying something, and I'm triple saying something anytime a black person says us to the side. Like we stupid. Fuck out of here, nigga. Fuck out of here. let's go a little deeper into these non-deep thoughts he's masquerading as intelligence. Let's go a little further.
Say, I wish my baby mama was dead, then
Let me go back.
and pay attention to other black men. A lot of men don't have role models, so they look up to men that they see on TV. They look up to men that they see in Hollywood. So you got to understand the trickle-down effect. When I see a guy I admire say, I wish my baby mama was dead, then I'm a young guy and I say, yeah, I wish my baby mama was dead too. Or you think about what happened in Chicago, where Corey's from Chicago, right? Where this guy is punching. Anybody saw that? Look
at this. Boyce conflates, for those of you who don't know who he's talking about, he's conflating the incident where the young teenager shot that man that was going at his mom. I seriously doubt that 14-year-old has ever seen the episode of 5150. But listen to him talk and imagine a white face saying the same thing about the intelligence of black men. Black men don't have role models. Black men listen to celebrities. Celebrity says kill baby mama. Then you see in Chicago, where Corey's from, Corey been living in, I don't know how long Corey been living in LA, but he ain't living in no damn Chicago. Boy, matter of fact, boys, don't you live in Chicago? What if your words disrespecting the intelligence of black men, what if your words is what caused that black man to not have any confidence in himself? Maybe that black man heard you talk about how stupid black men are and need role models. Maybe that's why he was mad, Boyce. You from Chicago, right? You see how easy this works? I got the wrong. Let me put my preaching music on. Boyce, see, if we gonna talk about rhetoric that's dangerous to black society, let's talk about it all. We ain't gonna let you hide behind no degree and no business school to shit on us like the black preachers were back. Boy, sounds like a 90s black preacher right now, don't he? So let's go further in to this lack of intelligence this brother's spewing.
Black woman in her face, like hitting her, like just you say one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out. And I think that guy's Mr. Goodbread. I don't know if okay, she placed the cafeteria where I met you. Speculate that you did not want to marry.
Well, I don't want to get
was going to die 20 years before he died. Give me a yes. The children are your future. We justify irresponsible behavior. Now, I'm not trying to say there's not a reason for it. The white man is lazy. I get it. Because I'm going to tell you about children. Let me tell you about black children. Children in general. Children require patience. Some of y'all ain't got the patience to handle kids.
Wait, now here it is.
Okay. Stop acting like black children are a goddamn nuisance.
Here.
Stop acting like black children are some sort of liability that gets in the way for you getting more vagina. Like, seriously, that's, well, I'll show up and I'll sleep with the girl, but I don't want nothing to do with them monkey ass little children. These fucking goddamn kids getting in my way. I can't get no pussy and smoke my weed and get my liquor and my women cause these little niggas are getting in the way. I hate that.
Boys, now there was a point that was made that they don't, like when Corey talks about not wanting to be around children. Now, Boyce is making it seem as if he's talking about not raising black children. Let me tell y'all something. As a single black man with a college degree, especially when I was in college, I ain't dating no chicks and no kids. Why would I date a child with a kid if I ain't got one? Or every person you with ain't gonna be somebody you raise. It's a lot of women out there who just want to get a doom down, and they don't necessarily even want that man around their kids. They just coming for that fixing, and vice versa. Just because somebody doesn't want to deal with a woman's particular set of kids doesn't mean black men don't want to raise kids that aren't their own. No, Boyce. No, Boyce. That's called preference. Some people like raising other people's children. Some people don't. Boyce, black men do get to have a preference. You chose to raise another woman's children, and that's fine. Salute to you for doing it. But if the next man doesn't choose to raise the next person's children, how is that a problem? How is that a problem? And then the whole other thing. He come over here talking about something. I want to smoke my weed. I want to drink. Man, Corey don't smoke weed. I smoke weed. Shit. I was at the Improv on Monday. I had 2 or 3 blunts when we were standing out there. Corey don't smoke. I can't think of the last time I've ever seen him drink. And that's another point I want to make. Elitist people, Negroes and non-Negroes, that's elitists in general, they always want to conflate smoking and drinking with bad behavior. Fuck out of here. Do you know who didn't smoke or drink? Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler didn't smoke. Adolf Hitler didn't drink. He still killed 6 million people. Some of the most honest people I know are smokers and drinkers. Tell you the goddamn truth every time. One of you, just because you don't smoke or drink, they might want to make it seem like you pure. F out of here. Again, more of that elitism. Elitism masqueraded as intelligence. That's what this is. Elitism masqueraded as intelligence. Let's keep going.
I absolutely hate it. I think it is the most embarrassing, pathetic, and ridiculous behavior that a black man can have. Look, man, if you don't want to date a woman with kids, don't do it. If children, because I'm gonna tell you about
talking to even back in the old days, granddaddy had a side family, and grandmama had a kid that was light skinned in a room in a family full of darkies. It is what it is.
Taking on a family, that is a different discussion from when you're 49 years old. When I was 49, I had enough. Think about this. There are a lot of young men who are getting relationship advice from men who are very unhappy in their personal lives. Why in the fuck would you get advice from somebody who's obviously not happy with their personal life choices?
Why would you get advice for somebody that's obviously not happy? I agree that it's a lot of people out here giving out relationship advice that aren't in position to give out relationship advice. I agree with that part, Boyce. I agree with that particular part.
I get it if it's one thing. Like I had uncles like Corey and cousins like Corey who would say, man, you know, they'd be sitting there with a bottle in one hand and a joint in the other. And they'd be like,
I wouldn't necessarily put Corey in that category, but go ahead.
Man, don't do what I did, man. Don't you ever do don't be like me. Don't mess up like me. Those were wise men because they understood that their choices weren't the best and they wanted me to do better. But when you have men that believe falsely that their choices were the right ones, and it seems validated because
you can't tell a man which choice is better for him and which one isn't, Boyce. To me, I think it's crazy to not have any kids and go and create an Insta family with someone who does. But one of my best friends on earth, that's exactly what he did. And it works for him. Just because you do it one way, the next man, you right or they wrong. That goes back to that black elitism shit that I'm talking about. Just because I did it this way, I'm better than you. Somebody who's been very straight-laced my whole life. You know what I mean? I went to college. I got the bullshit degree. I got all that. And that don't make me no better than a brother that had a baby at a young age and figured it out later on in life. You can't speak down to these people. You can't play these people to the side or play that whole segment of black society to the side. Here it is.
Weren't the best.
Listen to this part he says about DMX.
But when you have men that believe falsely that their choices were the right ones, and it seems validated because white folks have given them money,
I don't want to skip to it because I'll skip past it,
or that person's on the radio, or that person has a record deal, that's part of what's destroying your community. Pay attention. Think about it. Now, I'm not saying Corey's in this category, but if you remember DMX, everybody knew DMX was going to die 20 years before he died. Give me a yes if you understand where I'm coming from. Everybody knew that DMX was not going to live past the age of maybe 45. Everybody.
Now he's talking about DMX. DMX and talking about him and saying everybody knew he was going to die. DMX is on drugs because born out of childhood trauma. A childhood that put so much trauma on him, drugs was the only way he could cope with it. DMX is a case study on how America eats its young. I wish I was on another. I wish I could play some music, because I'll play that Parliament. America eats its young. America eats its young. That's why DMX was on drugs, because America eats its young. Get that album by Parliament Funkadelic, America Eats Its Young. This album right here. This is something that they were saying back in 1971. People like DMX get on drugs because of the circumstances that we're dealing with in this country. And to sit around and with a sane mind, a mind that's not hooked on drugs because of childhood trauma, to judge that from a point of view of someone who's been adequately resourced, that's disingenuous at best, boys. See, there are a lot of people who are living in life crazy and who didn't have that trauma, but there are a lot who are. And the shit on DMX like that to make your point. And then furthermore, you try to make a point about people smoking and drinking, you're making a point about somebody like Corey who doesn't smoke or drink. I don't know if he drinks or not, but I know the nigga don't smoke.
At some point,
oh shit! Now you talking about. Let's go back. Now you talking about R. Kelly. He going out. He taking all the white supremacist point.
Was going to die 20 years before he died. Listen. Give me a yes if you understand where I'm coming from. Everybody knew that DMX was not going to live past the age of maybe 45. Everybody knew that. People knew that when he was 35. Everybody knew that R. Kelly was eventually going to end up dying in prison. Everybody knew.
Cap, nigga, cap. Nigga, Boyce, you live in Chicago. Why didn't you do anything about it, Boyce? You want to play a Chicago game? You live in Chicago with R. Kelly. You didn't do nothing to save those girls, Boyce? And no, people did not know R. Kelly was going to die in prison. No, and he still might not. Because they did break the law to put him in jail. So he still might not. We knew R. Kelly was doing some degenerate behavior, of course. But we also knew, probably 6 out of 10 of these singers are doing some degenerate behavior. R. Kelly just one of many. You see how he jumping across? He see how he conflated this. This is how white supremacists work. They conflate through word association. They don't directly tie you into these people and directly say that you're bad, you're a drug addict, you're a misfit, you're this. They use association. And Boyce Watkins is using the old white supremacist or name association game. I swear to God, this nigga got his whole talking point. He done figured, I guess he watched the episode of Tucker Carlson before he decided to come on live today. God damn, Boyce. Was you watching Bill O'Reilly before you went live? You're going to associate someone who's literally cracking a joke saying, I wish my baby mama was dead, with DMX, someone who had severe childhood trauma and a life on drugs, and R. Kelly, someone who has sex with underage girls. You're going to draw that. You're going to compare those three black men with one broad stroke. And here, folks, this is the danger of Boyce Watkins. This is why I'm saying something. Because I know all these white supremacists work. They'll say, hey, Boyce is B1, he's black, and he agreed with this and this. Now black folks come visit these ovens we about to put y'all in. Even Boyce agrees. So I'm over here using my platform to publicly say, no. Intelligent black society, we don't all agree with Boyce Watkins. We reject Boyce Watkins and what he's saying. We're not going to allow, just because someone to crack the joke, we're not going to allow them to be conflated with a woman, with a man, with a teenage boy who shot a man beating up his mom. We're not going to allow you to conflate this situation with R. Kelly and a man that was having sex with underage girls. We're not going to allow you to conflate the situation with DMX, a man that was stuck on drugs because of childhood trauma. Look, in the video that I'm playing, I'm sorry, I should have put it in the description bar. My bad. And salute to the chat room and salute to the mods. Let me come up here. I just put it in the chat room. Star mods, if y'all hadn't already put it, the video that I'm watching, I just posted it in the chat room. My bad. I should have did that shit an hour ago. But I'm at 20 minutes and 12 seconds into this video. And within the first 20 minutes, Boyce conflated Corey's joke with a young black man who had to defend his mom by murdering an obviously mentally ill black man. That man that got murdered was obviously mentally ill, insane. He didn't have all of his marbles in his mind. Boyce is conflating him to that. He's using the buzzword Chicago, red flag number 2. He's conflating Corey with DMX and drug use. And Corey's not on drugs. Conflation number 3, flag 3. He's conflating him with R. Kelly in a situation that has nothing to do with what's going on with Corey. Strike 4. This is all within the first 20 minutes, folks. Do you see why I couldn't get past 30 minutes of this video? I'm a black man. He said black men need role models. What? No, boys. What black men need, a child needs role models. What black men need is to be the role model they seek. See, let me tell you something, boys. When it comes time to being a man, true manhood isn't looking for role models. True manhood is being the role model. And you be the role model by looking within. That's why I don't go around flaunting all my degrees like you do, Boyce, every time you talk. I have a PhD from such and such, and I used to have a Black Fences Expo, and I do this, and I do that. No, black men can be whatever the fuck they want to be. Some black men are going to be womanizers that have sex with every woman that they meet. That's just going to be who they is. Some black men are going to get PhDs and be total scumbags. I know some PhDs that are scumbags. I know a PhD, one of my listeners. I'm not going to say her name, but one of my listeners, she has one of the fathers of her children PhD, come from a family of PhDs. That PhD didn't raise his daughter. And nobody in that PhD family gave a fucking and did anything to put money in that daughter's pockets. Being a PhD don't make you any better than a motherfucker with a GED. PhD, GED, you still in a white supremacist society, nigga.
Let's hear some more of this nonsense.
At some point, his life, his choices were all going to catch up with him. Now, this is funny. This is actually out of Chicago, where Corey's from. You know, everybody knew that. But what made it seem okay? Why do people still look up to him? Why do people still consider him to be some sort of successful, upstanding individual?
I missed that. Let me go back.
Because he was on TV.
He said, again, he dropped Chicago.
We're all going to catch up with him. Now, this is funny. This is actually out of Chicago, where Corey's from.
Out of Chicago. See, this is what this white boy is doing.
Boyce is a whole ass white boy. Again, he's using these white boy tactics of word association. Chicago, buzzword, Chicago. Boyce, you're from Chicago. You live in Chicago now. Corey ain't lived in Chicago in over all goddamn. I think one episode of 5150. I think he said he moved out here in like 2000, something like that. That means Corey ain't been living in Chicago all century. But again, Chicago is a buzzword to the white supremacists. The word Chicago means everything wrong with black society. That's why they always say, "What about Chicago?" Chicago ain't been the top 20 in murder rate in America in a long time. Ain't been in the top 20, top 30. But Chicago's always used because Chicago is a pseudonym for for Black America. It's a word that's used to associate with Black America. So while Boyce is in his office in Chicago, he keeps using Chicago to conflate Corey talking about a situation between he and his baby mama and R. Kelly.
Very white supremacist of you, Boyce.
You know, everybody knew that. But what made it seem okay? Why do people still look up to him? Why do people still consider him to be some sort of successful, upstanding individual? Well, because he had money. Because he...
Boyce, everybody knew R. Kelly was a creep.
The people who kept and again, talking about black men, the people who kept R. Kelly going were honestly the women. Niggas didn't look up. R. Kelly is the singer of my generation. I'm a millennial. I remember Honey Love came out when I was like 9 or 10 with Public Announcement. Get me that honey love. Shit, that was my shit right there. I gotta have your love, baby. Give me that honey love. Back when R. Kelly had the flat top. And I'm not even an R. Kelly fan. I love that song by Public Announcement. But I'm not even here to defend R. Kelly. Yes, he was a singer of the music that I like, of that song. But overall, I didn't really like R. Kelly because when I was a kid, I liked Aaliyah. And R. Kelly was like, I was like, who is this grown-ass man with this chick that's my age? R. Kelly reminded me of them niggas. Remember when you was in high school and middle school? You liked that girl that was in class, but it was always that one nigga that had a car that would come back up to the school, and you didn't have no shot with the chicks your age. This nigga R. Kelly like he was about to beat this girl's ass, don't he? Remember this album? Look at R. Kelly when he had the flat top. That nigga look like, come over here, girl. But yeah, R. Kelly was the knockoff Aaron Hall. See, Aaron Hall had the bald head first. This is how R. Kelly came into the game with the flat top. While when Honey Love was hot, when Honey Love was hot, but it wasn't quite as hot as Guy. You know what I mean? It wasn't. I like What you do to me, I like. It brings out ecstasy. I like the way you turn me on. See, man, let me get back to the topic. I'm over here about to get into nostalgia with my music. Let's just go back to what Boyce was saying.
But what made it seem okay? Why do people still look up to him? Why do people still consider him to be some sort of successful, upstanding individual?
Nobody saw R. Kelly as an upstanding individual. He was a dude that made dope music that fucked young girls. That's how everybody like Boyce. Again, plain black people to the side. You know what black people did with R. Kelly? The same thing white folks did with Elvis, and the same thing you boys do when you watch a movie that's produced by Harvey Weinstein. You ignore it and enjoy the fucking movie. See, again, playing black people for stupid. Niggas just liked his music. The women just wanted to fuck. They didn't see him as an I don't know anybody that saw R. Kelly as an upstanding individual. I didn't necessarily like his music, but a lot of people who did. I like 12 Play. I like Chocolate Factory, but I hated Ignition. I remember when Ignition dropped because that's when all that pissing shit came on when Ignition dropped. I hated Ignition. Gonna have me some fun. Get that nursery rhyme out of here. Banana, banana, bobana, banana, banana, bobana, fee, fi. Here is my. That's like that same cadence as Confession by Usher and Ignition by R. Kelly. I hated those early 2000s R&B songs. R&B in the early 2000s and the mid 2000s sucked. Well, mainstream R&B. The shit that Erykah Badu and Jill Scott was doing, that's where it was at during that time. The shit that Music Soul Child and Maxwell, that's where R&B was for me during that time. But that Usher, R. Kelly, mainstream R&B, that shit to me was trash and too simple, too mediocre, too blah. But being someone who's not an R. Kelly fan, being someone who always knew this dude was a creep, I'm not going to sit here and act like the people who listened to R. Kelly looked up to him. I don't know anybody that looked up to R. Kelly. They just liked his goddamn music. The same way people watch movies that are produced by pedophiles all day, every day. But according to Boyce, black society has to be isolated. We have to be worse off. We have to be some special form of evil for being able to partition our love and desire and like of a particular art form and the person himself. Boyce don't think we can separate the two.
Well, because he had money, because he was on TV, because he's doing concerts, and because ladies like him,
because he's on his money.
So what I need you to really understand is, or gain the ability to dissect the fame from the person's character that is actually in the position of fame.
He just said we need to gain the perspective to dissect the personality from the fame. Boys, black society has been dissecting your chatty pattiness from your financial advice for a good decade now. A lot of us rocked with you 10 years ago, Boyce. And we saw you being a chatty patty 10 years ago. And a lot of us said, you know what? I'm going to dissect and separate Boyce the chatty patty from Boyce the financial expert. But after years and 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 years of chatty pattiness, we got to the point to where it's like, maybe you more chatty patty than you are a financial expert. And you tend to keep proving it on your YouTube channel. Trying to make it seem like R. Kelly was never no fucking role model, Boyce. Playing black people for stupid.
We don't do that. We assume that if you're rich and famous, that must mean you're a good man, you're a good catch, you're a successful black man. But a lot of the most so-called successful men.
And another thing, He's isolating it as if it's just black people. Who the fuck do you think Donald Trump is, Boyce? White society saw a man that's famous, that's successful, and the most conservative of Christians voted for him because of that. That's an American thing, Jack. In America, we're taught to believe just because someone makes a certain amount of money, have a certain level of fame and notoriety, that they're somehow credible. And it ain't new. That's how California elected Ronald Reagan to the governorship in the 1960s. It's how California elected Arnold Schwarzenegger to the governorship in the 1990s, 2000s. It's how Barack Obama became president because he was a superstar personality. It's how Trump became president. America has an unhealthy love and relationship for fame and celebrity. But goody two-shoes Boyce, this is black men. This is black society. Black people are too stupid to see the difference. Do you see what I mean by masquerading in pro-blackness? This dude here is masquerading his pro-blackness. He's veiling pro-blackness in a level of deep self-group esteem. I don't listen to what you say. I watch how you move, and I listen to what you say in between what you're saying. You can tell me all day that you got people's best interests at heart. But then when you try to equate someone who cracked a joke with violence in Chicago, with R. Kelly, with DMX's drug use, we see you moving like a white supremacist, Boyce.
That get the most visibility, the most, sell the most records, whatever, are highly dysfunctional, incredibly unhealthy people. If you don't believe me, go talk to their children. Go listen to their I'm a man jokes. You can black people. We got to really analyze that threat. They're not seen as any sort of competition.
Let me go back some
Yes,
more.
if you understand, the black community is not seen as any
this
sort
part
of.
here. Let me go back. Here we go.
You Bigfoot nigga. That is funny. Okay, now what? At what point do you get past the jokes and start becoming a man? At what point do you get past the jokes and actually start being serious?
Boys, let me go back to that part again. Corey's a comedian.
I'm a man. Jokes. You can tell a joke and I'll laugh with you. I'll be like, yeah, you're right. My feet are big. You Bigfoot nigga. That is funny. Okay, now what? At what point do you get past the jokes?
Boys, when you're responding to a comedian, there is no point you get past the jokes. You respond to a fucking comedian. How you gonna call yourself the intelligent black society? We intelligent. But you don't know that you're not gonna get past the jokes with a fucking comedian. You're not talking to a financial advisor. You're not talking to a basketball player. You're not talking to a news anchor. You're talking to someone who literally gets paid to crack jokes. You criticized him over a joke that he told. Corey's in his own world, cracking jokes on his own show, doing his own comedy routine. You made a comment about a comedian who told a joke. Now you're saying, when do black people get past the jokes? Do y'all see how ass backwards that is? Chat room, is it me? Chat room, is it me? God has said Boyce has turned into a Ken. Hey. I just down looked at the chat room. I ain't been looking at the chat room. I looked down at the chat room when I saw that first. For real. Is it me, chat room? See, boys, you're a financial expert. Well, I'm a rhetorical rhetorician. My degree is in communication. So let me bring you into my field over here, boys. If you address a comedian who's minding his own comedian business on his own comedian show about a joke he made as a comedian, and you address him, he didn't call you out, didn't seek you out, didn't say anything about you. You addressed a comedian. You can't then turn around and say, when are we going to get past the jokes? You get it? Like, what kind of level of remedial are we talking about here? You address a comedian and then say, when are we going to get past the jokes? The fuck? Let's keep going.
Actually start being serious, because one of the things that I need smart black men and smart black women to understand, some people ain't gonna get it. I know there's probably people in the chat. I'm not even looking honestly at the chat, but I'm sure there's people in the chat that are like, man, you a simp, you a whatever. Okay, fine, say all that. That's cool. But one of the things I need you to understand is that it is your commitment to jokes and always ha ha he he that makes your whole entire community a joke. Give me a
Now he's saying our commitment to jokes
is the reason why our community is a joke. Because a comedian is cracking the jokes on a comedian show and black people are committed to jokes. Never mind all of the economic devastation that we face. We're a joke because we like cracking jokes. Boys, how about we're just a joke to racist people? And people who are racist are going to find whatever reason to make us the butt of their joke. Boys, you're a joke to them too. You're a joke also to them, boys. With your PhD. Because you know what they see when they see you, boys? They see a monkey with a degree. I'm a joke to them. If it's a white supremacist, whether that white supremacist is Asian, Latino, Indian, or black, people with a white supremacist mindset think we're jokes regardless. There's nothing a black person can do to change the minds of these people. They'll say black people are jokes and then turn around and spend $400 on front row at a Dave Chappelle comedy show. They'll say black people are jokes and all we do is do music and dance, and then these same Japanese people, Chinese people, will spend every dime they have to enroll their child into a hip-hop dance class. They'll say all we do is do music, and they'll spend all of their money to put their children in jazz, music that we created. They'll say that we're a joke, and all we do is laugh, and then they'll turn around and steal hip-hop. They'll say we're a joke, and all we do is do music, and then they'll turn around and create something called K-pop. I'm tired of these weird ass niggas over here talking about well, they just think you're a joke. Man, fuck them. Yeah, you're right. They think I'm a joke, and then watch them go ahead, and as soon as they done talking about how much of a joke I am as a black person, watch them come eat off our culture. We're a joke, but then they're selling Louisiana-style fried chicken, not Wuhan-style Corona chicken. I look at them as a joke. You looking at me as a joke, but you wearing but you wearing a baseball cap. People didn't wear baseball caps until niggas start wearing baseball caps. You'll call me a joke, but you wearing Nike tennis shoes. Nobody wore Nike tennis shoes as a casual shoe. You wore shoes when you wore back in the 80s, before the 80s. These other groups only wore tennis shoes when they were playing tennis. So if I see them in a fresh pair of J's or a fresh pair of Adidas, why they calling black people a joke? All right, then cool. Why you dressed like us? But it's these respectable Negroes that won't highlight your greatness, black people. They'll just say you need to change because these other groups are looking at you. That's why I have an issue with these respectable ass niggas.
I got a problem with it. And make sure you visit DewanB.com.
Visit DewanB.com for all your merch and all that shit. Go to DewanB.com right now as we get further into what Boyce Ho ass is talking about right here. Go to DewanB.com. Get your merch. Get your in the shop. If you've never ordered from the shop before, I got my new t-shirt. Limited edition. Get yours right now. $5 off. Take 5 is the coupon code. Use the coupon code Take 5 in the shop. Free domestic shipping for all orders over $75. And you can get everything you want in the shop. Type in the coupon code Take 5 for $5 off your order. You dig what I'm saying? Oh, shit. This is supposed to be off sale. If you get it now, I'm going to take the sale supposed to end July 1st on my Black American Music Family Tree stuff. But you see, if you get this hanger before the end of the show, you'll get it for the sale price. You'll get it for the 10% off because I didn't change it. I'm going to change it when this goddamn show is over. So order it right now if you want it. And tomorrow, I'll be doing my reading for the year. We will be reading the United States birthday, and I will be doing a card reading show tomorrow. Breaking out them cards, doing my predictions for the year. Back to what we talking about with Boyce Watkins. Let's go back into him playing black people for stupid. Shall we?
Yes, if you understand. The black community is not seen as any sort of threat. They're not seen as any sort of competition. They're not seen as any sort of stable.
There. He didn't say we're. Let's go back. Words matter. Not there. Not we aren't seen. They aren't seen. Let's go back.
Yes, if you understand. The black community is not seen as any sort of threat. They're not seen as any sort of competition. They're not seen as any sort of stable entity. You're not respected by anybody. You go around the world and they call you niggas in other countries because
we're not respected by anybody.
But our artists tour the world, and black people, that's a half truth, Boyce. Black people are especially respected around the world. That's why the world holds up Malcolm X in high esteem. The world holds up Martin Luther King in high esteem. The world, China's biggest star, when Yao Ming was in the NBA, China's biggest star was Kobe Bryant and Stephon Marbury. Black people are seen as the creators of all things artistically that are good, that the world loves. Black people are seen as the people who stand up the most to oppression. We are the worldwide leaders, black people, as standing up to tyranny. So him saying that we're not respected worldwide is a lie, Boyce. We're not respected by white supremacists. White supremacists don't respect themselves, Boyce. So I do not expect respect from a group of people that does not respect itself. White supremacists kill their own goddamn mama. White supremacists, look what these motherfuckers be doing. The white supremacists, the people that don't respect black people are Dylan Roof. People who will go into a church and murder a bunch of black people. I don't want respect from somebody like that. Fuck your respect. You think I need respect for somebody who can look at me and because I'm in the position that I'm in, they not respect. You think I can respect them? Let's flip that. I don't respect groups of people that got their own country but make the United States write their laws. How about that? So when I look at people from other countries, from the Middle East and Asia coming over here, not respecting black people, well, I don't respect you because you got your own country and you couldn't make it over there, so you had to come here. I don't respect it. And not that I don't disrespect all immigrants. I love a lot of immigrants. But the ones who disrespect me, the ones who have the mindset I don't respect those black people, and they got their own fucking country, but they had to come here to capitalize off us. These are the same people who, when they come to our communities, our neighborhoods, our stores, they have to get the recipe to what we cook and sell that back to us. We ain't eating no goddamn Korean food. We might stop at the little Korean barbecue every now and again. That's some good, the little all-you-can-eat Korean barbecue spots off Wilshire, over here in Gardena off Western. But ain't nobody 9 times out of 10 fucking with that shit. They fucking with ours. So Boyce is literally over here running down and tracking respect from people who will never respect you. And that's another thing we as black people got to get over. Trying to get respect from people who don't like us. Fuck them. They don't like you, fuck them. They don't like you, fuck them. Understand that, boys. This is a generation of black people who don't give a damn about how other people view us. Matter of fact, we reviewing how we view them. Everything you got to come off our backs. You think I'll give a fuck if you don't respect me? I don't respect you, and I ain't looking for your respect. And as a matter of fact, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing over here, trying to forward our culture so these people can stop eating off our culture. Let's see what position these other groups are in when they got to eat off what they create. How about that? Let's see how much these other groups don't fuck with us when time comes around for them to have to eat off their own creations. What's going to happen at that point? What did Hulk Hogan say? What you gonna do, brother? What you gonna do when you have to eat off of you? I don't give a damn about the respect from a bunch of people that can't eat off their own culture. Fuck out of here, boys.
They're like, oh, of course, those people like to be called niggas because they call each other niggas all the time. And
I'm calling you a nigga too.
And I would just tell you, I really think as black people, we got to really analyze that. And so I'm going to throw myself on the cross and be the guy who does that. I'm going to be the guy who just says, you know, yeah, okay, let's have this conversation. So let me play more of the video so we can really.
I'm going to throw myself on the cross. Man, please. Ain't nobody Jesus, nigga.
Met him. And when I was in LA, I had desperate, beautiful women, but very desperate actresses.
Oh, here's the part I want to get to. This, y'all niggas about to laugh at this part. Y'all about to laugh at this.
In your relationship, that's really a reflection of what they see in their own relationships. I think that Corey, because he's in the entertainment space, he probably runs into a lot of low vibration, gold digging, nasty ass women. He does. He probably does, right? Because I've been in LA where Corey lives, and I remember the time
And now he's coming to LA. You've been Chicago.
This whole time it's been Chicago, where you live, boys. Chicago. Now he lives in LA. Now it's the women in LA. I'm born and raised here. The women in LA, let me tell you something about LA women. They want to know who you are. They want to know you are who you say you are. That's the LA woman. She gonna check you to see you the man you say you are. Are you that nigga that you project in front of everybody else? That's what LA women gonna do. Now, as far as in the industry, the people in the industry, gold diggers are everywhere. And boys, I seriously doubt gold diggers are looking at you, bro.
I was in LA and I met him. And when I was in LA, I had desperate, beautiful, beautiful women, but very desperate actresses that wanted to get next to me because I had money and status, and they saw people clapping when I walked in the room. So they thought.
Desperate women wanted to get at him
because he has money and status. And they saw him look at the room, walk into the room. Is this the face that you think desperate women? Well, I guess they gotta be desperate. Are we serious? Boys, do you really want us to believe that? Do you want us to believe that desperate women were flaunting and falling over you in Hollywood in a room full of niggas that had a lot of money? That's a cap. That's a cap. Women were flaunting and falling all over this man right here because he has money. Are we serious, boys? And those are the kind of women, like I know LA women and ballers, it's a lot of ballers. LA is a balling ass city, including black men. Boys, I don't believe you. First off, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Second of all, wasn't nobody fucking clapping for you, nigga. What? Yeah, maybe some strippers. You may have had some strippers on you because they may have thought you was a sucker. But I guarantee goddamn to you, they ain't the cats that live niggas hang around in LA. If they was going after you, it's because they read Gump. They was like, let's see if we can get this Gump right here. They're like, we got a Gump right here, boy. Let's keep going.
That, okay, I want to get next to this guy. I was really shocked by that, and I remember thinking, you are a beautiful girl. Like, where's your father? Like, your father, you shouldn't be in LA starving. Your father should be helping you out, sending you money, putting you in a position of strength. But most of them didn't have daddies, and a lot of them were desperate to be.
How do you know they didn't have daddies,
boys? Again, white supremacist talking points. How do you know they didn't have fathers? And if they don't have fathers, what does that have to do with this dynamic that we're talking about? See, what Boyce is doing is he's using Corey Holcomb as a canvas to spew white supremacist talking points. And that's what he's been doing lately, the last few years on his channel, is being a white supremacist in blackface. That's what he's doing.
Let's keep going.
Be successful, famous, whatever. So when they see a guy, you know, and again, Corey has status. He's a good comedian. You know, he's people know him, and I watch Corey. I laugh. I really do. My wife doesn't think he's that funny, but I do. I think he's funny. So these are the types of women that Corey deals with. Now let me explain my world and the types of women that I saw when I was single. I didn't see low vibration gold diggers. You know, why? Well, because I don't market myself to low vibrational gold diggers.
Boyce, you is getting whatever attention getting thrown your way, bruh.
And the thing is that when you bring this up, people think, "Oh, you're being uppity. You're being uppity." And I'm like, well, maybe we need to be a little bit uppity.
Here we go.
Who's on their belly, like just with a liquor bottle in a hand, because again, they get offended when you break down things like fetal alcohol syndrome and how many millions of our kids can't even think right because their mama was popping up the Cavassier while she was pregnant with the baby. Like y'all don't. The thing is that when you bring this up, people think, "Oh, you're being uppity. You're being uppity." And I'm like, well, maybe we need.
It's not that you're being uppity. It's that you're using the
underbelly of our society as a representation of our society. You're punching down on people who are victims of white supremacy. I'm not a big fan. Y'all know me. I'm very quick. I can't stand ratchets. Ratchet chicks annoy the fuck out of me because they cackle. When I hear ratchets talking, all I hear is cackle, 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 cackle. If I see a pinky toe that's a centimeter longer than the sandals and a whole bunch of loud talking, I run. I don't fucks with the ratchets. I don't. But at the same time, I understand that that's an element of our society that exists because we live in a ratchet society. America is ratchet. So in a ratchet ass country, you're going to have a certain percentage of your population that's ratchet. You don't help the white supremacists by isolating our ratchetness, our ratchet behavior, and making it the representation of black society. White people have ratchets too, but they're quote unquote intellectuals. Any intellectual, Boyce, is not going to use the exception, the dregs of society, as the example for the society. No self-respecting, intelligent person does that. Not if you respect the culture. Not if you respect the group. This is all from a joke. All of this from a joke by a comedian. He's brought up Chicago. He's brought up drug use and DMX. He conflated that with R. Kelly. And again, I'm only 27 minutes into this video. It's a 3 hour, 38-minute long video. I'm not going to watch. I'm done watching this shit. I'm not going to watch. I'm going to play a few more spots, but I've seen what I need to see. Because you don't need to clean that up at the end. When you put black society and you associate us with everything wrong with our society, you've done all the white supremacist stuff that you need to get done, boy. Ratchet is ratchet. But I ain't about to sit here and let the ratchet be the representation of black society. I'm not about to sit right here and talk down to all the black people over the ratchet few. There are far more constructive black people who just want to live their life and be the best that they can be at the highest level that they can be it. That's 80% of black society. You got 10% who's doing really good, 10% who's really fucked up. The other 80% is living day to day, trying to be the best that they can be. That's the truth. Most of you guys are here in the chat room. Y'all got jobs. Is it your fault that you were raised in a society that said go and get a degree? You went ahead and got that degree to get a job, but now for the good paying jobs, they only hire the Asians and the Mexicans. And if you black, and you want to make some money, you better either be a specialist or have your own business, be the cream of the crop. Because if you're just a black person with a master's degree applying for the job, you're not going to get it. I have family with a master's degree. I have one family member took 8 years to get a job with a master's degree. Finally got a job, was on that job for a year. Somebody that got paid less came along. They fired his black ass. And now he's back looking for a job, master's degree. That's the majority of black people. Followed the program, thinking the program was going to be beneficial to us and pay us off, only to get to the point of now it's time for the payoff. We can't get the jobs. And then unless you're some exceptional black person that either is the greatest engineer, that you have a specialty degree, or you're a business person that runs a successful business, if you're not one of those two things, if you're just a run-of-the-mill black person, you can't get a job that's going to pay you enough to buy a house in a decent neighborhood. That's not our fault. Because America has a whole bunch of mediocre ass jobs that pay $150,000, $200,000 a year, that anybody who is trained, it's so many jobs that all it takes is 6 months of training to do, that they're offering $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 a year to do. And you don't have to be at the cream of the crop. You just got to be white. You just have to be Asian. Those county jobs, these jobs that these places are pay big money. And only thing you're going to need is a 6-month apprenticeship to learn the ropes of how the company work. But when you black, you don't get those jobs. Unless you're a specialist, unless you're a specialist, if you're black, you're going to be the security guard or the front desk. That's what's wrong with our society. Regular day-to-day black people can't get a job that's going to pay enough for them to move into a decent neighborhood. You got to be extraordinary to get paid enough to move into a decent neighborhood. While somebody could hop their ass across that border last week, have a kid, and get a job, and don't even need to speak English that well. That's going to pay them enough to buy a home in a decent neighborhood, a neighborhood that's being gentrified. That's what's going on, boys. Not ratchets. Ratchets are not our problem. Look at this. Here in America, here in LA, Asians have bought all of LA. Man, Asians have bought it all. And not because they some special group of people, but because the social engineers made it that way. Look at this. This LA. This LA, right? South Central's right here. South Central LA. The Asians create businesses here that we're forced to consume because they don't allow black businesses of certain styles to operate and exist. The Asians bought up this whole city over here called Monrovia, Arcadia. All this area you see right here 15 years ago, 20 years ago was mostly Mexicans and white. Now all of this is Asian. All this is Asian. Whittier Narrows, all that stuff is Asian. All over here. Well, Asians also have these things called massage parlors here in LA. And it's an epidemic of these rub and tug spots being opened all across the city. And those neighborhoods that they live in are largely financed by rub and tugs. Women, I do that for $50. You want me to do that? Okay, how much? $100. all the prostitution going on in their neighborhood? How is it that they can buy up whole neighborhoods with prostitution rings and massage parlors that are allowed to openly operate in plain sight of the government and them not getting shut down? A black person want to open up a liquor store, they giving us nuisance laws. Look at this. Here, look at this. All you got to do is Google Asian massage. Asian massage in Southern California. I don't know how it is. I don't know how it is in other parts of the country. But in Southern California, all you got to do is type in Asian massage. That's all you got to do. And they're allowed to openly operate on Google. Look at this shit. This is on Google, y'all. I just Google Asian massage. That's all it is. Look, Asian massage. Asian massage. They're allowed to openly be prostitutes on Google. But we have Boyce Watkins saying that the problem of black society, the reason why we can't get ahead is because of our ratchets. We ain't got no open prostitution rings like that. If ratchet, what's the point? Why am I bringing up Asians? If ratchet society, if ratchet degenerate behavior was a cause for groups not being taken serious, if ratchet degenerate behavior is the reason why groups of Americans are behind others, then how the fuck did these people get to buy a whole goddamn city when they got a city-wide full of prostitution rings? Huh? So you got to ask these questions. You got to ask these questions. See, look, another thing, talking about we should, this is another thing with them on respectability politics ass niggas. Look at this. This is something that went away. It got initially revealed in the LA Times, but the LA Times is owned by Charles Wu, an Asian, so he quickly silenced this story, and then the coronavirus hit. But I didn't forget. There's a whole Asian Chinese cheating ring that's at UCLA and all of the UC system schools, where it was discovered that Asians are cheating to get these top grades. Talk about a group of people that we should be laughing at and shouldn't have any respect for. You got to do all that cheating to get into school. Black people don't cheat. Why y'all got to cheat? And these are the people that Boyce Watkins is saying are laughing at us. Think about it, people. Boyce Watkins is saying the group of people that need to cheat their way into school and open up a whole bunch of massage rubbing tubs throughout the city. These are the people laughing at us. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this up. These are the people Boyce is saying are laughing at us. We should change how we get down because these people are laughing at us. What the fuck? Are you serious, boys? And this isn't to talk shit about these groups of people. It's about questioning the source. Who are we embarrassed that's laughing at us? Them? What's up, Jeff Brown? If y'all coming to the Hidden History Museum comedy show tonight, Jeff Brown will be on stage with me. And I got a surprise guest coming through tonight, too. Possibly. But tonight we got Jeff Brown, we got Alicia Cooper, we got James Davis, and Jamario McClain. And a surprise guest. So I said that to say, as black people, we got to question the source. We are not as bad off as these quote unquote intellectuals to try to make it seem as we are. We're not. Are we fucked up? Yes. Do we have a whole lot to get fixed? Hell yeah. We got a whole lot to get fixed. But I ain't about to sit here and act like these people, these decent Negroes, speak for us. I'm not going to sit here and act like the ratchets and the degenerates are what's wrong with black society. I don't like being around them. If I see a cackling ratchet, I will walk. Matter of fact, I will run the other way. I do believe all black people cannot be saved. I do believe that. I don't fuck with hood rats personally. But I also know that hood rats are not the reason why we're in the position that we're in. I understand that no matter how many degrees I have, or you have, Boyce, no matter how many businesses I have, or what car I drive, or what neighborhood I live in, a racist is going to view me as less than. Because that's what racists do. And there's absolutely nothing I can do about that. There are not enough degrees in the universe for me to earn their respect. But guess what, Boyce? I don't want their respect. Fuck them. They can kiss my black ass. They can kiss my black ass. Hey, man, hit my Cash App. Before I get out of here, hit my Cash App, $ Dewan Brown. Shit. Hit the Cash App. Or at Dewan B on Venmo and PayPal. Hit the Cash App. At $ Dewan Brown if you like what I'm saying. Hit the Cash App. $ Dewan Brown. There you go. It's at the bottom of the screen right there. So, this is the point of today's show. We're only going to get through this shit with each other. And no group of black people is better than the next. At the same time, you can't necessarily work with all black people. Just because we got the same skin tone don't mean we on the same team. So I get what Boyce is saying is there's a difference between, I get it. But what I don't get is you blaming the underbelly of our society as for being the problems that we're seeking, as if they're our problem. They are not our problem. Hood rats are not our problem. They are a problem. We don't like when they're around. They spoil shit when they come in with their loud, ratchet ass attitudes. But my problem is the white supremacists that made the hood rat, not the hood rat. The hood rat being a hood rat is not keeping me as a black man in my position. White supremacy is. And I don't need to clean up hood rat behavior for me to get mine. Somebody said, y'all talking like that. I hope y'all help. Look at this comment right here. No, I hope. No, why are you hoping that we help as much as he is? No, what are you doing? Don't worry about Boyce, Domoski, Arcade. Don't worry about us. What are you doing? I hope y'all helping as much as. Are you helping as much as Boyce? Where's your black business school? Huh? That's another thing. You come out and talk about some shit like this and start somebody, well, you ain't doing what he doing. Well, what the fuck is you doing? Since we measuring. If we gonna measure, let's measure it all then, nigga. That's real talk. Superintendent, for the last 10 years, Boyce has done nothing but beef with black men while giving us Cynthia G, while giving us Yvette Carnell. Huh. Well, that's about it for me today. I got this show tonight, the Hidden History Museum. I gotta crack my jokes later on, so I'm gonna get into that. But in the meantime, remember this. Like I say all the time, there are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages for those willing to pick up the game. Black men aren't stupid. Black people aren't stupid. Corey can crack his jokes, and the rest of us can realize, hey, that's just a joke. It's not a joke I would have said, but I'm not Corey. The rest of us are mature enough to show the distinct difference between you and me, he and we, them and him. Not stupid, Boyce. I'm tired of black people being played for stupid. Just because one does something to say something doesn't mean it has implications on all of us. All right. I want to thank y'all again for listening. Ride Ready Car Wash. Y'all want to make sure y'all hit them up. Hit up Ride Ready Car Wash. If you're in Southern California, hit up DewanB.com to get your merch. I want to thank y'all again for listening. But I'm out. Y'all have a good one.